guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far. So it is October, my favorite month. I'm wearing another skull shirt because I love them. And you know I like talking about movies and kind of like different movie trivia and facts. And because it is almost Halloween, the best holiday of the year in my opinion, I thought what better movie to talk about than the movie Halloween itself. Yes, it's one of my favorites. The original 1978 version. I think it's a favorite of a lot of people. And I know a lot of people who always watch it on Halloween as a tradition, which is really fun. We already did a video like this about Scream, so now it's time for Halloween to have its turn. So let's jump on into it. And if you're not already subscribed to this channel, please consider doing so. So number 10, Halloween was not originally called Halloween. So when you write a screenplay, you kind of give it a working title, and the working title was actually The Babysitter Murders, because there is babysitting in the movie, so I could see how that could be a title. But as they got closer and closer to production, something just like it didn't feel right. They didn't feel like The Babysitter Murders was like giving it like the full scope of the story in the title and kind of like exactly what was going on, and they just wanted to be like really scary, so they decided to name it Halloween and have the events take place on Halloween. So once they gave it that title, as like it was always going to be like set in Halloween time, but once they gave it like that actual title, it actually made them kind of like ramp up production, and they had a very short time to make this movie. But it was obviously the right decision, because having a movie named Halloween will make everyone watch it every Halloween, and the movie has done so well because of it. So it was like one of like the best title changes of all time, in my opinion, most successful title changes. So the next one we have is with a budget of only $320K. So the budget was originally only $300,000. The extra $20,000 is from Donald Pleasence. Once he signed on to the film, basically he was the biggest star they had, who like had the most work on his resume. So he wanted $20,000, which is a good paycheck for an indie, and especially an indie film in the 70s. So that's where the extra $20,000 came from. So even though it had that small budget, Halloween in its first year alone made $70 million. I mean, that is amazing that an indie flick can make $70 million. And like, what a success, like, to only star with so little and like make so much. And John Carpenter like didn't even get paid that much to make this movie. He got paid very little, but he did get like a cut of the profits, which obviously, hello, cha-ching, like I'm so happy that that happened to him. And because it had that huge success for decades, well, for a couple of decades, it was the most profitable indie film of all time. But unfortunately, and when did the Blair Witch come out? I think 99. The Blair Witch Project actually made more, and it became the highest grossing indie flick of all time. And that kind of annoys me, because this is just my opinion, obviously. I think the Blair Witch Project is trash and Halloween is everything. I saw it in the theater and it was just so mismarketed and so deceiving. I hate that movie, but maybe it's just me, so I'll try not to be bitter. So next we have the fact that John Carpenter loved Hitchcock, and we actually discussed this a little in the Scream video. So even though he loved Hitchcock, Jamie Lee Curtis was not his first choice. He had another actress that he made the offer to for the part of Laurie, and the actress turned him down. And then the other producers really asked him to take a look at Jamie Lee Curtis again, because they really thought Jamie Lee was perfect for the role. And because they knew that he liked Hitchcock, they reminded him that Jamie Lee Curtis is the daughter of famed Janet Leigh, who is the star of Psycho, and that maybe because her mom was in a scary movie that was so iconic, like having her daughter in our movie would like really draw a big crowd. So he agreed with them and decided to offer Jamie the role after all, and she took it, and it's kind of, the rest is kind of history, because she's just so perfect for the role, and I'm so glad they that ended up working out, that the first actress turned it down. So there's kind of two other little Hitchcock facts about the movie. So Dr. Loomis was given that name as a tribute to Sam Loomis in Psycho, who is Marion's boyfriend. And then Laurie babysits a character named Tommy Doyle. And in the Hitchcock film Rear Window, there is a cop named Tommy Doyle. So he just like, those are some little tributes that he wanted to pay to Hitchcock. And I love when there's that kind of stuff in movies. So next, the film was shot in just 20 days. So as I mentioned earlier, changing the name, like changed the whole shooting schedule. And that's just insane to film a feature in 20 days, but they did it and they did such a good job. And yeah, it's awesome. So the next one is due to the low budget that they had to work with, they couldn't have like a custom mask design for Michael Myers. So someone on staff went down to a local shop and they found a mask of Captain Kirk, and they took it back to the studio. They spray painted it white, and ta-da, Michael Myers was born. And it's kind of funny because, so the mask is supposed to look like William Shatner, and it really doesn't look that much like William Shatner, so it wasn't the best Captain Kirk mask to begin with, but ended up looking really creepy and cool for Michael. And Shatner was not mad at it at all. He even bought one and wore it to a Halloween party at one point because he thought it was kind of funny, and he was kind of honored that his face was in the movie. So our next little fact is that Carpenter had to score this movie because of all these tight deadlines in just 3 days. 3 days! That's insane to me, like, because it's just so brilliant. Like, that theme that plays when Michael Myers, like, starts walking is just, like, well, I think just, like, the most brilliant score. And, oh my God, to do that in 3 days, you just have to have so much talent. So next is the fact that even though, it ended up being an indie, they almost had a chance at like a wider release and a full studio because 20th Century Fox did take a meeting with them. But at the time they took the meeting, unfortunately the score was not finished yet. And they watched the film without any music to it. And the executives just didn't think it was scary enough and they passed. So that's how it ended up staying in indie. But I mean, it's 20th Century Fox's loss that they passed because, like I said before, they made $70 million in the first year alone off of basically a $300,000 budget. So your loss, 20th Century Fox. So our next little fact is both Siskel and Ebert praised this film. So just in case there's any like young people watching, like teenagers or younger, Siskel and Ebert were like basically what Rotten Tomatoes is today and like IMDb is today. There were two movie critics who like their word like pulled like a lot of weight for a movie. Like they were just awesome. And they both saw it at the Chicago Film Festival and they really liked it and they thought it was scary, and they liked, even though obviously it had death scenes, it didn't have like excessive gore for no reason. It was like just the right level of scary. So them giving it that praise really helped the movie because the movie kind of got like released here and there at different theaters. It didn't get like one wide release. It got like slowly released at different places. And then as word of mouth went on, it got released at more places. So we're getting down to our last couple of facts. So the next one is that Haddonfield, Illinois is where the movie's supposed to be taking place, even though it was shot in California. But Haddonfield, Illinois is not a real place. But where they got that name of Haddonfield is one of the producers, Deborah Hill, really wants to pay tribute to her hometown in some way. And her hometown is Haddonfield, New Jersey, which is a real place. And as some of you know, I'm from like that part of the country. And I actually think that the town of Haddonfield is adorable. And if you're ever there, I mean, I know you're not going to just be like someone from Florida probably that like goes there, but if you live in the area like New Jersey, New York, Philly, Delaware, if you ever find yourself in or near Haddonfield, it has like this really good restaurant called the British Chip Shop, and just has like this banging food, and it's like food that you can't really get that often because it's like British themed, and it's just so delicious. So that's just a little extra. And our last fact is, so between the tight shooting schedule and just like everything being so chaotic, there's some flubs in this movie that someone with like a typical shooting schedule and a bigger budget probably would have caught and reshot, but they really didn't have time to reshoot a lot of things. They just needed to keep everything going. So because of the tight schedule, one of the most famous flubs is when Lori and her friend go like over to a bush to investigate a noise, and you could just see random cigarette smoke blowing in the frame, and that was actually John Carpenter standing off to the side smoking a cigarette, and he just did not realize that he was in the frame. So yeah, that's kind of funny, and a lot of people noticed that. I don't know if they had, like, I have seen it before, but I'm wondering, I gotta pay attention when I watch it this Halloween. I don't know if it's like been taken out since, but for years they did keep it in, so that's kind of cool. So I hope you enjoyed learning more about the movie Halloween. Like I said, it's one of my favorites. So let me know down in the comments like what you thought of these things. Did you know any of them, or is there anything else you know that you'd like to contribute, or just let me know what you think of the movie. And if you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much. Bye.